Okay, right. So listen, topic name is solution. Like this, like similar to solid state, this topic also has weightage of 2 questions. Started? It started? Yeah. This topic also have 2 questions weightage. In NEET, we can expect 2 questions. Okay. One question from 100% from colligative property. We have colligative properties and their application and all. One question we can expect from colligative property. Another question from other than colligative property, we have some other basics like solubility is there. Okay. And before solubility, we have other methods of expressing concentration. So adr mele one question kodabodu. So colligative property mele one question barutte. So let us start the topic. Tell me, so what is solution? Solution is a homogeneous mixture of 2 or more component which chemically do not react. Yes or no? So therefore the simple definition of solution is, it is a homogeneous mixture of 2 or more component. 2 or more component, but the condition is which must not react. That means which do not react with each other. They should not react with each other. Then they are called solution. So therefore solution is always a homogeneous mixture of 2 or more component which chemically do not react. Okay. For example, let us take beaker. This beaker containing water. Let us H2O. Right. To this H2O add NaCl. Tell me whether this NaCl reacts with water. Is there any reaction between water and NaCl? There is no chemical reaction. It is just a physical process. The formation of solution is always a physical process, but not it is a chemical reaction. There is no chemical reaction takes place between like sodium chloride and water. It is just dissolved, right? It just soluble in water. Similarly, sugar. Take the sugar, add in water. Is there any chemical reaction between sugar and water? No, there is no chemical reaction. Therefore, usually the formation of solution is always which process? It is a physical process, but not chemical reaction. Next, solution should be always homogeneous. What is the meaning of homogeneous and heterogeneous? Homogeneous is the mixture in which the component are uniformly distributed, right? So the mixture in which constituent components are uniformly distributed and they should not have any visible boundaries of separation. For example, take oil and water. Okay, you mix it and keep for some time. Can you get homogeneous or heterogeneous? You will get heterogeneous. Oil come in one layer, water will be in other layer. So whatever you mix it, again keep for some time, it will be get separated. So this means that oil and water is always heterogeneous mixture, but not it is a homogeneous. And in heterogeneous mixture you can have the visible boundaries, right? Oil is one layer and water is another layer. There is a clear visible boundaries are possible in case of heterogeneous, but our solution is a homogeneous, right? In homogeneous system there is no clear visible boundaries of separation. Like for example, sodium chloride. Add sodium chloride in water, you mix it. Can you get sodium one side and sodium chloride one side, water other side? Not possible. Can you see with your naked eyes? So sodium chloride one side is there, water is other side? No. And moreover, this sodium chloride is uniformly distributed, yes or no? Like sugar, add sugar in water. Sugar also uniformly distributed in water, yes or no? When you prepare tea or coffee or sweet, okay. So whether sugar is completely or uniformly distributed in water or not, in milk and water? Yes. Otherwise when you take the tree, first sip ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಿಹಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ and last sip ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ. Is it possible like that? No. So it means, so sugar is uniformly distributed in water, that is a homogeneous. Sodium chloride is uniformly distributed in water, that is also homogeneous. So therefore our solution is always homogeneous mixture, and homogeneous mixture of two or more component which chemically do not react with each other. They should not be chemically react, right? Then only it is called solution. Next, so therefore formation of solution is always a physical process, but not it is a chemical process. Next, then in case of solution, the constituent components, so we take solute and solvent, so and so. The constituent components can be separated by physical process like crystallization, distillation, even by chromatography. These techniques we study in organic chemistry. Therefore, so how do you separate the constituent of solutions? Can be separated by one, by simple distillation, even by crystallization, and even by chromatography also. So by using even chromatography we can separate the constituent of what? Solutions. Next, classification of solution. We have two classification. First one is classification based on number of constituents, that is classification 1. So classification 1 based on number of constituent. Okay, so based on number of constituent, solutions are classified usually two types. One, binary solutions, and second one is tertiary solutions or trinary solutions. So what are the binary solutions? The solution which contain how many components? 2 components. The solution which contain 3 components are tertiary solution. Therefore here the solution which contain only 2 components are called binary solution. The solution which contain 3 components are called tertiary solutions. Okay, so we will study only binary solutions. We don't have tertiary solutions or trinary solutions. In binary solution, so generally they contain 2 components. Those 2 components are called solute and solvent. So therefore all binary compounds have 2 components, solute and solvent. Then what is a solute and what is a solvent? Generally solute is the component which is present relatively less quantity. Relatively, the component which is present relatively less quantity in the solution is a solute. The component which is present relatively large quantity in the solution is what? Solvent. Therefore usually solute is always present less quantity, solvent is always present more quantity, right? For example, let us take aqueous NaOH solution, where what is the solution and what is the solvent? What is the solute and solvent? Solute is, so usually solute is sodium hydroxide, which is present smaller quantity compared to water. So aqueous, it means there is a water, no? So what is the solvent is? Water. So solvent, water present larger quantity, therefore water is a solvent and NaOH is solute. One more example, let us take sugar is dissolved in water. Sugar dissolved in water, what is a solute and what is a solvent? So solute is a sugar because sugar is lesser quantity relatively. Next, which is a solvent? Water is a solvent because solvent present larger quantity, that is water present larger quantity relatively. Okay, so you can go on write many example for binary solutions. Next is tertiary solutions. They contain usually 3 component. When they contain 3 component, then we cannot differentiate which is solute solvent. We cannot say solute and solvent. The solute solvent concept comes only in binary solution, not in tertiary solution or trinary solution. So what is the example for tertiary solution? You can take alcohol plus acetic acid, both are dissolved in water. Take the beaker which is containing alcohol, acetic acid, water. 3 are mixed, so 3 form homogeneous mixture due to formation of hydrogen bonding. So therefore this mixture can be taken as a tertiary solution. So this classification based on what? Physical, based on number of components. Next there is another classification, classification 2, based on physical state. Right. So based on physical state, solutions are further classified into 9 types, 3 types. 1, let us take type of solution here. What is the solute and what is the solvent? Solute, solvent and examples. This tabular column given in NCERT textbook, you must remember it. Okay. Type of solution. There are 3 type of solutions. 1, solid, solids, liquids, gases. Let us take first gaseous solution. Next, second one is liquid solutions and third one is solid solutions. Okay, then the physical nature of solution is depends on physical nature of solute or solvent. Solvent, yes or no? Because among solute and solvent, which is present larger quantity? So solvent present larger quantity, solute is present smaller quantity. Therefore the physical nature of the solution is decided by the physical nature of solvent. Suppose if the solvent is a gas, solution is a gaseous solution. If the solvent is a liquid, solution is a liquid solution. If the solvent is a solid, solution is a solid solution. Therefore now let us take it is a gaseous solution. In all gaseous solution, what is the solvent? Solvent must be gas. It is a gas. It is gas. Next, in all liquid solution, what is the solvent? Solvent must be liquid. Liquid. It is a liquid. In all solid solution, solvent is a solid and a solid. Then what about solute? Solute may be 3 state. It may be gas, liquid, solid. For example, if the solute is a gas and it may be liquid, it may be solid. Next again, in liquid solution, solute may be differ. It may be again gas, liquid, solid. Here also gas, liquid, solid. Right, here important is example. If the solute is a gas, solvent is a gas. Tell me, it is a gas, it is a gas. Gas in gas, what is example? So you can take a mixture of nitrogen and oxygen. So you take O2 and N2. O2 is a lesser quantity, no? In mixture of O2 and N2, which is more and which is less? Obviously nitrogen is more in quantity, right? What is the percentage of nitrogen in air? It is 78% approximately. What is the percentage of oxygen in air? 21%. So nitrogen 78%, oxygen 21%. Therefore oxygen is a solute, N2 is a solvent. Therefore solute in solvent. Next, liquid gas. You can take chloroform. Chloroform in liquid state. Chloroform in nitrogen, where nitrogen is a gas, chloroform is a liquid. Liquid in nitrogen. Next, solid in gas. Camphor. Camphor is a solid which is present in again nitrogen. So these examples given in NCERT textbook. You follow the NCERT textbook. Next, gas in liquid. Gas is a smaller quantity. Liquid is a larger quantity. Tell me, which is the example? Lesser quantity gas, more quantity liquid. So you can take oxygen dissolved in water, isn't it? Or else even you can take CO2 also dissolved in H2O water. Soda water, no. In cool drink, soda water, carbon dioxide dissolved in water. Next, tell me, next one is liquid in liquid. Solute should be liquid and solvent also liquid, both liquid. So alcohol soluble in water, yes or no? Particularly ethyl alcohol. Ethyl alcohol completely dissolved in water. Therefore you can take ethanol plus water. It is a homogeneous mixture. Homo na hetero na? Ethanol plus water is homogeneous or heterogeneous? If ethanol, ethyl alcohol do not soluble in water, how people make peg? You might have seen in movies and all, right? Solpa enne haki, right? Neer hagtara, soda hagtarva, whatever it is, water, right? So will you get two layers? Alcohol layer is different, water layer different? Not. That means alcohol is completely soluble in water, because alcohol, particularly ethyl alcohol can form the intermolecular hydrogen bonding with water. Therefore both are, they are miscible as well as soluble. Okay, next, solid in liquid. Solid is a smaller quantity, liquid is a larger quantity. Tell me. NaCl in water, sugar in water. Therefore NaCl dissolved in water. Even you can take sugar also, glucose also dissolved in water. Next, okay, gas in solid. Gas is a smaller quantity, solid is a larger quantity. Tell me. Yeah, hydrogen gas adsorbed on palladium platinum catalyst. We study heterogeneous catalysis in surface chemistry. The mechanism of heterogeneous catalysis is based on this only, right? Hydrogen gas adsorbed on nickel, platinum, palladium catalyst is example for gas in solid. Next is liquid in solid. It is also important reagent, mercury amalgam in zinc. Another example, even mercury also dissolved in sodium. It is called zinc amalgam. Clemmensen reduction, right? In Clemmensen reduction we use zinc amalgam, right? Good reducing agent, where mercury is a amalgam in the form of liquid state and zinc is a solid state. Last one is solid. So you can take alloys, right? Alloys, it is a mixture of metals, brass, bronze, right? Is okay, steel, etc. Steel is not alloy. Steel is different. That is interstitial compound, steel, because steel containing iron plus carbon. Okay, but here you can take best example is copper plus gold, right? And even silver plus gold, right? Copper plus gold alloy. Tell me, in copper and gold, which is a smaller quantity, which is a larger quantity? Copper is a smaller quantity, gold is a, and silver and gold, which is a smaller quantity? Silver is a smaller quantity and gold is a larger quantity, right? So this classification is made based on what? Physical state of solute and solvent. methods of expressing concentration of solution. Right, so there are two methods, one qualitative method and quantitative method. Let's say first qualitative method. Qualitative method. Right, in qualitative method, the strength of the, qualitatively we represent qualitatively, we express qualitatively. Right, in qualitatively generally we use the terms called standard solution, and we use dilute solution, and we use concentrated solution. Right, these terms can be used in qualitatively, it is not quantitatively, just quality, to check the quality or to show the quality, to measure the quality. First one is a standard solution. What is the meaning of standard solution? The solution whose concentration is known, isn't it? When you enter into the lab, you might have seen there is a conical flask, there is a reagent bottles. So all the reagent bottles labeled with 0.1 mHCl or 0.5 sulfuric acid or 0.2 some other solution. What is the meaning of that labeled solution is? The concentration of solution is known or not, right? If the solution concentration is already known, that solution is called what? Standard solution. Therefore, the meaning of standard solution is the solution whose concentration is known. By knowing concentration, by knowing the concentration of one solution, other concentration of solution can be calculated. That is, we have other methods, right? Volumetric analysis is there now, that can be used. So therefore, so here standard solution is the solution whose concentration is known, right? The solution whose concentration is known called standard solution. Then what about dilute solution? In dilute solution, dilute and concentrate solution, we use the concentration or quantity of the solute, right? The solution in which the concentration of solute is very less is dilute. The solution in which the concentration of solute is more, that is concentrate. So therefore, in case of dilute solution, whose concentration is less? Concentration of solute, not solvent. We use solute only. Okay, solute concentration is less, is a dilute. Then what about concentrated? Here concentration of solute is more, there is a concentrated solutions. Okay, so therefore these are the qualitative methods, right? Next, quantitative method. What are the quantitative method? These are important. Quantitative methods. In quantitative methods, one, we use mass percent or weight percent, mass percentage. 2, volume percentage. 3, mass by volume percentage. 4, tell me, molarity. Before that, parts per million, it is ppm. Next, 5, mole fraction. 6, molarity. 7, molality. 8, normality. 9th one is formality. So these are the quantitative methods. Okay, we'll study one by one. Take down here, take down till here. Methods of expressing concentration. Let's see here, mass percentage, volume percentage and mass by volume percentage. So these three are actually physical methods there, physical methods, but three are actually interrelated. See how. Mass percentage is, it is a W by W. The number of grams of solute present in 100 grams of the solution is a mass percentage. What is a mass percentage? Number of grams of solute. This W is a solute. Mass of the solute divided by mass of the solution into 100. Right? Therefore, number of grams of the solute present in 100 grams of the solution is a mass percentage. Then what is the volume percentage? It is in volume percentage we take the number of milliliter, it means number of volumes. The number of milliliter of solute present in 100 milliliter of solution into 100. That means volume of solute divided by volume of solution into 100. Right? The number of milliliter of solute present in 100 milliliter of solution is a volume percent. Next, similarly, mass by volume. Mass is a solute, volume is a volume of solution. Therefore, mass of the solute divided by volume of the solution. That means the number of grams of the solute present in 100 ml of solution. So three are interrelated. So W by W is mass of the solute divided by mass of the solution into 100. V by V, volume of the solute divided by volume of the solution into 100. Next, mass of the solute divided by volume of the solution. Therefore, in all the cases solution only, not solvent. Okay. Let's see, first one is mass percentage. So mass percentage is, it is the mass of the solute by mass of the solution, or nothing but you can take number of grams of solute, number of grams of the solute present in how many grams? 100 grams of the solution, called mass by mass, W by W percentage. Okay, it means W by W percentage equals to, tell me, can I take mass of the solute, yes or no, divided by mass of solution or solvent? Mass of the solution only, mass of the solution into 100, because it is a percentage, right? Then can I take, this is in other terms, W by W percentage also equal to, tell me, it is a mass of the solute. Let us take mass of the solute as it is, divided by mass of the solution. Then mass of the solution, can I take density is equals to mass by volume, or mass equal to density into volume. Therefore, so instead of mass of the solution, can I take density of the solution into volume of solution? So therefore, instead of this mass of the solution, you can take density of solution into volume of solution into 100. That means the mass of the solution we have converted into density into volume, because mass equal to density into volume, that can be taken. Okay, then here where this is important. So this is important in case of problem, particularly in problem they may give 10% W by W aqueous sodium hydroxide, like question will be there like this. Now you need to analyze what is the meaning of this. In question is given that 10% W by W aqueous NaOH, it means 10 grams of the sodium hydroxide. Yes or no? Solute is sodium hydroxide. 10 grams of the sodium hydroxide present in how many grams of the solution? 100 grams of the solution, because mass of the solute by mass of the solution, or number of grams of the solute present in 100 grams of the solution, right? So 10% W by W means 10 grams of the solute sodium hydroxide present in 100 grams of the solution. Then how many grams of the solvent? Solution is 100 gram, solute is 10 gram, solvent is, because solution equal to solute plus solvent, right? So solution is 100 and solute is 10, that means 100 minus 10 is nothing but 90, that is solvent. Okay, tell me this first. So what is the meaning of 10% W by W aqueous NaOH? It means 10 grams NaOH dissolved or present in 100 grams of solution, not solvent. 100 grams of solution. But I want how many grams of water?
90 grams.
So solution equal to solute plus solvent. Okay, solution is 100 grams given and solute is 10 grams is given, then solvent. So tell me what is the solvent? So solvent equal to, it is 100 minus 10, which is 90 gram. Okay, now in this solution what is the solvent? Aqueous solution, that is a water. Solvent is water, solute is NaOH. So therefore now tell me, solute is NaOH, it is a 10 gram, solvent is, it is a water, how many grams? 90 grams. So if you know the solute and solvent, it is possible to calculate molarity, normality, molality, etc., mole fraction. So you can calculate many things. So in this way this data is helpful. One more example. If it is, let us take 30% W by W glucose solution means, glucose solution means what? So it means, yeah, first of all you should identify what is a solute and what is solvent. In glucose solution, solute is glucose, solvent is water, solution is glucose plus water is a solution. Okay, this 30% W by W means there is a 30 grams of solute, not solvent, not solution. 30 grams of the solute. 30 grams of the solute present in how many grams of the solution? How many grams of the solution? 100 gram. So therefore 30% W by W means 30 grams of the glucose present in 100 grams of the solution. But I want solvent. So here solvent is a water, solution is 100, solute is 70. Therefore solvent must be 70 gram. So therefore this indicates, it means what? It means 30 gram glucose present in or dissolved in 100 gram solution. 100 gram solution or 70 gram solvent water, right? So in this way analysis help in the doing problem. Okay, write down mass percentage.